twisted wires, guys. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've done my own research on it, and it's really hard to find the answers that I've had the questions for, or somehow or another. So I'm gonna give you what it is, how it is. If you twist a 20 gauge wire, what gauge will it turn into? I will go ahead and tell you that specifically now. I did all the measurements and all that. Okay, so according to the wire gauge conversion table, it tells you all the gauges, all the inches that it should be in diameter, and all the millimeters it should be. Okay, this is pretty freaking accurate. I did check a couple of these, and it is what it is. I have a caliper and I tested it, and it's accurate. So going on a 28 gauge, and I'm gonna go specifically only 28 gauge in this video because that's pretty much all I use. I think that's pretty much the best gauge to get the best range of vaping that you'd like. So 28 gauge is 0.32 millimeters is the diameter. Okay. So with that knowledge, I started measuring my own millimeters. So I have, this is my 28 gauge wire, just plain old 28 gauge that I made the own little spool holder for. This is toilet paper, the middle piece of the toilet paper. I just cut it off the tape on it so that I don't have to take wire off my huge spool little by little. So that's what I use. So this is what I use, and what happens when it gets twisted? This is what happens when it gets twisted. This is two 28 gauge wires twisted together, two of them, and this is what I get. Now the reason why I have it on here is because I use this stuff all the time to build pretty much all my coils. I use 28 gauge twisted. Now what gauge is 28 gauge twisted equivalent to? I went and searched online, and everyone is giving different answers, and this is just, I think it's this, I think it's that. I'll tell you straight up what gauge it turns into if you twist it as tight as it could go before it starts knotting up. Okay, as tight as it goes before it starts knotting up, not twisted like this. I kind of screwed up on this one. This one is what gave me that horrible scratch. It snapped in the middle and just but this is still usable. I've been trying to get rid of this stuff, building coils on that. But back to 20 gauge twisted. It is 0.6 millimeters. Okay, 0.6 millimeters. So what's that equivalent to in gauge terms? 22.5 gauge. So if you do twist 28 gauge, two wires together, you're making a 22.5 gauge wire. So there's no need to buy 22 gauge wire if you just twist two 28 gauges together. Okay, that is what I got in measurements, and I measured it myself, pretty much spot on. It's correct. There's no I thinks about it. It is what it is. It's like 1 + 1 = 2. That is what it is. So if you do twist two 28 gauge wires together, you're going to get 22.5 gauge. Okay. Now it depends on how you twist it. If you twist it less, you'll get kind of a higher gauge. But if you twist it as much as it could go before it starts knotting, this is as tight as it'll go. So then that's the gauge you'll get. Now what happens when you, and this is the fun part, okay? I twisted 3 of these together. 3 28 gauge wires together, and I got this as a result. Whoa. And when I was twisting these, I was like, oh yeah, this thing, it's gonna give me like 0.1 ohm. It's not. It's not, but it does produce a crap ton of vapor. And it's pretty good flavor. It's not as warm as I thought it would be, but it's a little bit warmer than that dual 28 gauge twisted. So with this, if you do decide how to make this, it's very freaking simple. You grab a drill where the chuck is, you just put 1 wire on each one of those openings of the chuck, and then tighten it up. Grab the other side with a plier and just keep winding it until it gets so tight that it's about to knot up, but right before then, that's as tight as it'll go. Make sure you put a lot of pressure on it as you twist it, and this is the results of it. I measured this, and it is 0.67 millimeters. Okay, 0.67 millimeters. roughly equivalent to 21.5 gauge. So not much of a big difference between the triple twisted and the dual twisted 28 gauge wire, but it does give you a bigger diameter, which gives you lower ohms per foot. Okay, so this is equivalent to about 21.5 gauge. Now, because I just did this today, right now, I should have done it on camera, but it's just so much easier to do it off camera. If you want to see me make this triple twisted 28 gauge wire, just message me or leave comments, and if I get enough comments, I'll make it on camera for you guys. But it's pretty simple. There's not really much thinking to do about it. It's pretty much the same way you do twisted dual gauge. So that is that. And how I twist my dual twisted 28 gauge, I use a Dremel, and how I twist my triple, I use a drill. Okay, so that's just letting you guys know how I do things. So I wrap the coil. It is a micro coil, or in between a micro and a nano coil. It is a 5/6 wrap on a Nimbus. So I took out my hotspot coil, put the Nimbus coil in there, and this says it's giving me 0.42 ohms. Okay, now I know that this device actually produces a little bit higher ohms. So I did check it on my multimeter because this is a new build and it's kind of important for me, and I want to know exactly. I'm getting 0.35 ohms on this. Okay, so this will give me 0.35 ohms. That's a pretty safe ohm to vape at. I could even dual coil these if I wanted to, but just to show you, the vapor production is freaking immense. Okay, I have dual 28 gauge twisted nano coils, dual 28 gauge dual twisted nano coils, and the single coil produces just as much vapor. So that was freaking amazing. I will go ahead and soak this up for you. This thing eats a crap ton of juice, guys. Make sure you do soak it as much as you can. Make sure that coil is not in a pool because it will not perform well in a pool. And this is something, as you'll get to see, the freaking vapor production is something out of this world. It's like a choo-choo train. See, I don't like doing that because I get specks of juice all over the front camera here. So let's go ahead and put the cap on if I could find it. I did have to drill these out to 5/16, 2 big holes to kind of supply enough air for this coil. It is a nutty coil. Let's give her a little bit. Yep, it produces more vapor, and it's cool. It's not hot. Just a little hit. What's that? Immense amount of freaking vapor, especially for a single coil setup. So for you single coilers out there, I do recommend dual or triple twisting your 28 gauges. It will produce a crap ton of vapor. I do have the AC running right now. Even then, it's not going to hinder the amount of freaking vapor I produce out of this thing. This thing is a scary amount. Woo! Woo. Immense amount of vapor. And I am actually vaping where the air conditioner is on, and it's a heavier PG juice, just for the flavor. So if I do switch to a VG heavy juice, I'm going to produce thicker clouds. But this is an awesome build. My wife is home, and she has all these stuff that she bought. I guess I gotta cut off the video now because she's giving me the laser eye. You know, laser eye? Just give me one of those. So that means that I gotta end this video there, here, wherever. 20 gauge twisted wire, freaking awesome. This is pretty much all I use. The dual twisted. I tried out the triple twisted, and I'm freaking amazed. I'm loving the twisted. I probably wouldn't dual coil these, but for those single coilers out there, my gosh, this is freaking awesome. Hopefully this answered most of your questions. If you go Google search it and you see the forums and they go, I think it's about 26 gauge if you twist 28 gauge together, don't listen to them. It's not accurate information. What I just told you right now is basically the most accurate you'll get. I did measure everything with the caliper. Freaking 2 different calipers, the manual caliper and the digital caliper, okay? And that is the results that I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did making it. And if you have questions again, feel free to message me or contact me or leave a comment and all that. Alright.